Another live that's not really scheduled here. I'm gonna take these symbols off here because I got a video coming up where I'm comparing some crash symbols. Sweet. Doing some yeah. Sometimes I'll play with a limited amount of drums or cymbals. So sometimes I may just I also have a video, and I didn't want a video coming up next week, and I had some symbols here I'm going to be comparing, so I took those away. Besides the one that is I always play with, this Legacy Crash here. So sometimes I'll just play stuff and kind of come up with some ideas if I'm limiting myself, and this is like nothing new. But if I'm, which I feel like you can't really see my hats, I'll take a crash cymbal away, or I'll purposely only play on the kick drum and snare drum and hi-hat or whatever. And so this is, I mean, two cymbals essentially. So sometimes on the ride, or the crash, really, this is, if I'm doing some bell part like that, I'll kind of switch between using finger control technique and like just wrist control, just depending on what I like. Right there, I think I was doing this. Like kind of just doing almost 16 notes, right? 16 notes followed by like crash a little bit louder to come back in with that backbeat, with the snare and the crash. Kind of crescendoing that so for those just joining, I feel like there's just now people here. Let's see what I can't read anything that these words are saying, and I'm just doing a really short live here. So hi, said hi. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, that's terrible. The word? I don't know, man. Drums. Anyways, thanks for everybody who is tuned in to this live so far. It's gonna be a short one. I got a video coming up this Saturday, and then I got another video next week that's going to be comparing cymbals. That's kind of why there's not really a cymbal here. And then for that video, there's 3 different cymbals with this one included. So it's weird, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I don't have a cymbal here because I'm comparing, and I'll just say it, I mean, because the video is going to be out next week anyways. Comparing this Sabian crash with a Zildjian crash with a Paiste crash. And so at the beginning of the live, I was scrambling, and you could probably hear all the cymbals crashing around. And all I was doing was just taking those cymbals off, so you really couldn't see those. I mean, you'll see it if you tune in next week for that video, but I got a video going up on Saturday. I'm thinking around 10 a.m. So that's why there's no cymbal here. But I figured it'd be really cool. These cymbals kind of sound similar. The Paiste is a little bit different, so just a heads up there for when that video does go. But the Zildjian that I'll be playing here, and this is the cymbal I always have. The Zildjian and Paiste I rented, so. So I did want to talk about really quick this fill that is in, I don't know what song specifically it's in, but it's in a Like Moss to Flame song, one of the really old songs. I don't know, by really old I mean like one of their first albums. It's not old, it came out like 2011 or something like that. And he does this fill. I don't know if it's a real drummer or if it's just MIDI drums, but essentially he's doing this beat that's like something along the lines of which is pretty popular in that style of music, you know, in the heavier genres or whatever, you know, heavy rock, metal, pop punk, whatever. It's really popular. And he does this fill, or it's a triplet bass fill. And so I'll kind of do that fill a little bit slow for you and then go into that beat, and then do the fill again to kind of give you an idea. But the fill is like, essentially it's like with some nuances in there. So all it is so it's like that triplet. So faster, it'd be like. And so the song is like, the fill is actually faster than that. So it's just I remember when I first listened to that song, I always like, you know, obviously as drummers you like fills and all that, but when I heard that fill back in the day, I was like, wow, that's really cool, because I mean a lot of times it's easy just to be like, not that every single fill has to be like a statement, but that fill, whether or not it was a real drum or MIDI drums, it's just it was really cool because with that faster genre, you just didn't really expect it. He could have done anything. He could have, if that's a full measure fill, he could have been like. Faster kick parts or whatever, but he decided to do, and I talk about it a lot here, and it's the mixed subdivisions, and it's just, he was, essentially like probably quarter notes on the crash, and then mixing that subdivision up with those triplets. And so with that kick drum part, it's just when I do that normally, I can do it with my right foot. But I normally just alternate between right and left. And then same thing for the last part. So if you alternate, kick, right, left, kick. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. Kick, so right, left, kick, right, left, kick, right, left, right, left, right, left. Share that. I wanted to do a YouTube short going over that fill, but I like fills like that. Let's see what the comments are saying here because I can't read anything. Can't see without my glasses. Dude, yeah, I'm jamming. About to end this live though. I just wanted to go live really quick to share that fill. And then there's one more fill. I did want to let y'all know if you're looking getting better at drums, maybe it's just creativity. Maybe you want to play better things like that, or come up with better fills. Maybe you feel like you sit down at the drums and you play the same things over and over again, and you're like, I've tried everything. I really want to get past that, whether it's the speed, the creativity, coming up with different things and thinking outside the box, or you want to take a drum lesson with me. In the description below, there is a link to my courses and also my drum lesson page. And all the information's there. The drum lessons are typically 45 minutes. But right now until Sunday, actually at midnight Central Standard Time, I got a deal going on where it's 30% off everything, including the live drum lessons. And if you spend $40 or more, you get a free 30-minute drum lesson thrown in there. And so I decided to throw that in today. I didn't originally even think about doing that. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, I want to do that. So 30% off all the courses, whether you want to get faster with your weaker hand, play better things, leading with your weaker hand, come up with more creative fills, be able to think outside the box, or maybe you need help with your double stroke rolls. Or paradiddles. Mixed paradiddles, inverted paradiddles, double paradiddles, all the kind of versions of paradiddles, whatever it is that you need help with, in the description below, 30% off all of those courses, and you can check those out. That goes until Sunday, so take advantage of that because I don't ever really do that. And with the Black Friday, everybody's doing that, and so yeah, I want to be able to help you. And I pump out tons of free content here on YouTube where I'm like teaching on different stuff. So if you don't jump in, maybe I'll do something over it. But if you want to get better now and you're ready to just take your drumming to the next level, check out the description below, 30% off until Sunday. Also, there's a page to my gear. You can kind of check that out. Another fill I want to go over really quick was a fill that's in an Under Oath song. And it's kind of like a triplet bass thing too. It's one of those things where the song is really kind of you're doing quarter notes on the crash cymbal and really the whole beat in and of itself because you're including the whatever. And then Aaron Gillespie does this. I can't remember what song it is. I know it's on Define the Great Line, but I think either that or the next album. But he does this fill where it's like da, 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 1, 2, it's a half measure. Mike Johnston teaches on that a lot, where he's like, when you vocalize the fill, it helps out. But it's like that, where he's like. And what I found really with that fill sounds even better is when you flam that, it's like 2 kicks and then flam that next hit. Normally I'll hit the floor tom first. Just kind of gives that extra depth there. So it's like slower, it's like. So definitely lots of linear drumming there. So if that's something you're not really comfortable with, I have a few linear videos, so check those out. Just go to my channel and search some linear videos. But that fill, in context of the song, I'll speed it up. I'll do the fill one more time slow. But it's a half measure fill, and in the context of like the beat, because it's like a part of the song where I think it's like after the bridge, and it's like. So it's 2 hits actually, so it's like. Sometimes slowing it down doesn't help, but because I forget. So it's 2, you can do flams there. So just alternating between those flams and your kick drum. I can't think of it, like I said, the song name, but that fill is another one that's kind of one of those that I've always liked Aaron's playing. And that's one of those songs where I'm like, dude, that's really sick, because you don't really expect it, Once again, similar to the first fill that I talked about with like Moss and Flames, he could have like done really anything there. He could have been like. All these cool fills. But what's cool is like you can take that tom part. I always just kind of isolate that to the floor tom. I'm sure that's. I haven't really watched how he does it. I just hear it. But you could take that, like trade between, floor tom, snare, doing that flam, and then closing up the hi-hat with a snare backbeat. So, I just want to talk about those 2 fills. I don't know that I've ever done a video going over those. Once again, thanks for tuning in here. If you haven't, check out the description below if you want to get better with drumming. You want to get to the next level creatively. You want to play faster, and you want to lead with your weaker hand playing around the drums, and you're interested 30% off until Sunday at midnight Central Standard Time. Check it out. Okay, sweet. Thanks again.